guys, it is the end of 2021.
What a morbid way.
What
to
a
start
year.
that.
It has been exhausting.
Oh, guys, it's the end.
Wait, is it actually like
It was a good.
the end
was
of
a run.
2021? No, it wasn't a good run.
Jesus. Well, it's all over.
Nope. Yeah.
All 365
Hey,
days.
I'll say this. This is probably the first year in a while. Oh, I just spit like a ton right there. I don't even know.
That was the first year that
Um,
happened?
It was the first year that was probably like in a while it's been better technically than the one that came before it. Not because 2021 was like amazing, but because it was better than 2020, I feel.
Well,
strongly.
I am envious of you.
What?
Oh,
I'm not going to go into it. It's
Okay,
just been
okay.
a lot.
For
Anyway.
sure.
Yeah.
We
I mean-
really started this off in a really depressing way.
But I
Well, it is the end of the
like,
year. So happy holidays, happy new year. This is the last Death Metal cast of 2021. And we have released the final episode of 2021. Not the final episode overall. Don't get mixed up. Death Battle is wrapped up for 2021, though, with our season finale, Saitama versus Popeye, which I fucking adore. Gotta go check that out if you haven't.
based as fuck if we ended the entire show on Saitama versus
Oh,
Popeye.
Of all things, oh my god. No, people would never hear the end of it if we didn't do Galactus Unicron.
That's true. No, it
like
would
that
be
has to
fucking-
happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It will happen.
Or Goku vs Superman 3, of course, right?
Oh,
Wink.
God. Now you set them off.
We'll see. No. Well, it's been a very unique year because, like, obviously 2020 was really fucking weird.
Hell nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh,
So trying to so not beyond everything else that was happening, because 2020 was a hell nightmare for a lot of reasons that are obvious. Death Battle in 2020 actually somehow pulled off a pretty phenomenal season that we didn't really get. Like, we had to move a lot of episodes around, but we managed to make it through the pandemic in a way that I think a lot of other shows in other places just couldn't really manage. And that's a testament to the teams that we work with, which is, it's amazing how
That was incredible.
I'm not gonna say effortlessly, because there was a lot of effort put in by everybody, but how effectively we were able to shift to like a work from home sort of workflow, and it worked. We released like literally the biggest season I think we've ever done in 2020. Obviously, like that was a lot though, so we had to make sure to temper it for 2021, especially because we really wanted this season to be worthy of being our 10th year anniversary, with some amazing matchups, some really amazing focus on, or like fine-tuned focus on some really cool fights, animations, bringing in Unreal, pushing your sprites to like the very limits.
New writers.
Yeah, new writers, new animators, new artists, new editors, like Liam directing almost half the episodes this year, right?
Next year. I did
next-
4 episodes this year.
That's right. Next year you're directing like half of them, which is great. I don't have to work as much. No. No, I got other stuff I can do now, which is great. Yeah, it's been amazing to see. We do have a Q&A to get to for today's episode. I also do want to point out this episode right now that we are doing is pre-recorded. So if you're watching this live in the chat, unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to interact with you. Don't let that stop you from interacting with everybody in the chat.
Yeah, so say whatever you want within reason.
Exactly.
Don't piss off the mods.
But I'm sure plenty of people have things to say as we get into the Madeira and Eisen questions and
Actually,
answers.
you know what this chat should do in exactly 5 minutes. One of you should say that Liam is incredibly handsome today.
Are you going to set an
because-
alarm and go check?
because then I'll respond when my alarm goes off. I'll pretend to check the chat and then I'll respond to it, and then it'll sync up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you setting an alarm for 2 weeks from now?
No, he's setting an
5
alarm for
minutes.
5 minutes from
minutes,
now.
Yeah. It's at 4:38, 4:37.
Except you didn't
4:36,
you didn't calculate the catch up sync, which is like a couple minutes off, or like about a minute.
It's less than that. It's like 15 seconds. I think.
Oh, because it's no, because no.
All right, let's
You
get
said
into
you're
the
gonna say it
Q&A.
beforehand. All right, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so Chad, let's go ahead and get into the first question. And Liam, you're on the spot.
Yep. First question's coming out the gate with I love it when they frame it this way. Didn't you forget about the Hyogoku's evolution abilities, allowing Eisen to adapt on the fly and make him more powerful than Madara?
No.
I know, that's how I always want to answer those questions.
Well, that's good.
Didn't you forget?
Of course not.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah. So the thing with the Hogyoku's adaptations abilities is it's not super well defined. In terms of like the adaptations that he gets in his fight with Ichigo, is it basically just makes him stronger to match Ichigo's level of strength, which is what he wanted. It's not like it's mentioned that the Hogyoku can like is like a reality warping thing. But the limit, like, it doesn't really show off the kind of extent that would of those kind of powers that would be needed to match someone with the versatility of Madara. So he can only kind of go off of what the best thing it's been shown to do. Similarly, this is something we didn't mention because it was just, I felt it was kind of like too absurd. Was that Madara can use Izanagi, which can warp reality. He usually uses it to kind of escape from death, but it does briefly warp reality in kind of a small way. Add on to the fact that he would be able to, like, he mentions at one point when he makes shadow clones, that, or wood clones or whatever, that like one of the 5 Kage is like, you're fucking busted. This is unfair. And he's like, would you prefer that each of my clones use Susanoo? Which implies that each of his, or just means that each of his clones has the chakra capability to like use a fucking Susanoo, which means that each of their eyes would individually be capable of Izanagi, which roughly gives you about 15 seconds worth of like reality warping. So that's a lot, right? He could just keep pumping shadow clones over and over and over to warp reality in small ways to give him the results that he wanted in a way that's more concrete than Eisen can with the Hogyoku. So the answer is it wouldn't. It's impossible to determine the Hogyoku's full extent of adaptation, and Madara's would have been better anyways, more versatile.
Yeah.
It can also reverse time too. So if any adaptation that he doesn't like from Eisen, he just uses the Mangekyo Sharingan versus time.
Probably should have mentioned earlier. Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah, whatever. We're like a few weeks past it.
I've never actually thought about it. Is Madara the only Uchiha who uses clones that are like capable of fighting? Am I like wood clones versus shadow clones, whereas they're different from the normal clones?
Gosh, I don't. Maybe they aren't shadow clones. They're clones. I mean, for the sake of what
they're the wood clones.
The wood clones, yeah.
But like the typical clone is not the same thing as the shadow clone, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So being able to use the Susanoo,
yeah,
like having like 15 of them running around,
yeah, like 15 Susanoo
would be wild.
Yeah,
man, I don't know. I haven't this wasn't my episode, so I didn't watch through all of it. So
We're
maybe
also
this
like
happens
half
in
a
Boruto or
season
something like
deep
that. But
into the next one.
Luis,
Yeah.
would you have liked to animate 15 different Susanos?
I think right now what we have right now is perfect. I don't think we need to add anything else on top of it.
Yeah, that episode
it's great.
Was
It was so
filled
cool.
to the brim. It was to the brim.
Yeah. It just kept going. This was like kept going. And I'm like, every time I'm sitting here be like, that's a new asset. That's a new asset. It just kept going.
Oh, why yes, chat. I am very handsome today. Thank you so much.
Who said that?
It was the chat. It was the chat.
Who in the chat?
Yeah, but you know, it's
I
always
heard it.
important. It's always important to like name the community members, call them out, be like,
Yeah.
hey, buddy, we appreciate you.
It was
Blank.
it was Swank Fan 69.
I'm gonna guess it was CDJ.
Okay, maybe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now
That's
you know.
a good. I'm just saying, if
Thank
it
you.
happens, I have powers. All right. Next question. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's do
sure.
it.
Let's
Alright.
get that. Let's do it.
Couldn't Eisen regenerate from soul disintegration since Yamamoto's Bankai has existence erasure?
Yeah. So one of the arguments that I saw after the episode, I mean before the episode too, but stuff that was brought up a lot after the episode was that Eisen's regenerative capabilities, his resistance to hacks, should apply to everything that the Soul Society can do because they state that they were unable to execute him, which makes sense. I mean, I get it. We don't technically see them using it, so it's possible that there is some reason that we're just not privy to. That is why it was not applied to him. But sure, like for the sake of argument, let's say that is what happened. The big one I saw was Yamamoto's Bankai, which essentially Yamamoto's whole like his basic ability is like generating intense heat in order to just fucking disintegrate people. And his Bankai is when he focuses all of that heat into his blade. So it's like this fucking like lightsaber that's 15 million degrees Celsius or whatever. And he says, and I quote, it merely blows away everything it touches without a trace. And that is the justification. Oh, and it does not emit an explosive flame. It does not burn. It merely blows everything it touches without a trace, which is a reason to believe that it has an existence erasure capability. I disagree. I've not seen other like secondary sources that say that it is in fact like just like a Thanos snap existence erasure. I don't think that makes any sense. His ability is based on heat. I know it says it doesn't burn, but when I read that, the implication is that it does not like its heat is so intense that it doesn't like set you on fire. It doesn't singe you. It just like disintegrates anything it touches like a fucking lightsaber. So I that makes sense based on what his actual ability is, what he describes the Bankai as being. I don't see it as being this kind of like different kind of hacks.
Yeah, you can't assume it's like god powers that take someone out like of existence unless that is specifically said. You know, like,
and it's kind of artfully said.
Right.
It's a hype anime speech moment. So I don't agree. It's also possible that Aizen's like Reiryoku or Reiatsu was able to nullify other characters' hacks, like he did, like was stated previously in earlier fights. That's just a possibility. Which would mean that if he fights somebody with the same level of power, like Madara, that wouldn't apply. So yeah.
cool.
So it's a little unclear, I'd say.
What's better than the smell of some chestnuts roasting on an open fire for Christmas? Well, easy answer. Dadgrass smokable hemp, and you won't even have to hide your holiday toke from your loved ones because Dadgrass is something all adults can enjoy. Dadgrass is legal, organic, smokable hemp and tinctures that relax your body and mellow your mind. They're 100% organic pre-rolled joints and tinctures, and they're very low in THC and high in CBD, so you can enjoy the effects of CBD while keeping a clear head. Chill out without getting stoned. It's like having a glass of wine, not the whole bottle. Okay, so all Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the US. And if you're traveling this season, there's no need to worry. You can take it where you want to go because it's TSA approved. So right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/cast. So go to dadgrass.com/cast for your 20% off your first order. Just once again, that is Dadgrass, dadgrass.com/cast. All right, go try it out. It's cool. They got joints. You can smoke them and they're legal. It's a wild world, guys. Enjoy.
Why didn't we use current Eisen and instead had him in weaker forms?
Well, I wanted him to lose. So
Okay, good. I'm glad you finally admitted it. Glad
There
you
we go.
finally admitted it.
Super cut real quick.
Yeah,
Just cut to
Please,
Chad
like,
asking
just cut
each
that.
question and just repeat that.
The reason is that's more of an animation thing. Yeah, I was totally aware. We were all totally aware of the 1,000-Year Blood War arc and how he looks different with the eye patch and etc. We just used that previous design. It's the more, at least in my opinion, the more iconic Eisen design. Seeing those evolutions is a good way of showing the Hogyoku working, because otherwise it's kind of a passive. It's just kind of there. You don't really see it. It's not like this big thing floating around him. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's a good way to represent the Hogyoku's abilities. It did not like impact his power level in the analysis. Right, in the analysis, we go off of him from the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. We mention his fight with Yuha. We mention scaling to the Soul King. So you watch that part, you should be fine. The
It
animation
looked
is just
cooler and was more fun.
Yeah. The animation is just for funsies. You can imagine that the base was the one fighting the Soul King. And then we just evolved him from there. Like again, same thing with like Ichigo and Mugetsu. Yeah, we're not limiting him to his power level at that time of the arc.
Yeah, and one of the things to kind of keep in mind is that when we're doing animations.
Cat, no.
Oh, you want to see? You wanna see?
Oh,
Kitten.
It's gay.
oh, look at that cat. Oh, I fucking love animals so much.
So cute.
They're the best things ever.
But one thing to keep in mind when it comes to animation is that we like to represent the characters in the way that people know them by the most, and sometimes that involves just kind of like maybe doesn't have an eye patch.
Yeah. I thought
Yeah,
about it. I like his 1,000-Year Blood War arc design, but I think the
Yeah.
one before it is more iconic.
Yeah.
It depends on the episode, depends on who's working on it. There are a lot of different people working on Death Metal, a lot of different opinions on how to
Visually represent it.
Yeah, how to visually represent the character and what people will recognize. Like, it is entirely possible that most people watching would look at Eye Patch Eisen and in the fight and go, "What the hell? Who is that?"
Kenpachi?
what's
sorry.
wrong?
Yeah, exactly, right? Because unfortunately that Eisen hasn't been animated yet, or hasn't been in the show yet. So there's those kinds of factors to keep in mind. It's like obviously the fight matters. It's not just like we're just gonna bullshit a bunch of stuff. Like the fight is part of our exploration and presentation of who wins and why, showing the powers matching each other, what can overpower what, etc. We're not just going to have a character overpower another power just because in the fight. Which I see people quote us as saying like the fight is only for entertainment. That's not true. But that is an aspect of it. So and like I feel like everybody knows that, because if it was not, just like, then a lot of these fight animations would be like 2 seconds long.
Yep.
So
just try to understand context. Like it's not we're not trying to make something that's bad.
Yep. For example, if a character doesn't have
Fuck.
Super cut. I just wanted Eisen to lose. We're not trying to make anything that's bad. Perfect answer. Sorry, Luis. Were you saying something?
I was just saying that just because a character doesn't have an eye patch doesn't mean that he doesn't have the abilities that he has learned.
Yes.
That's just a general for every character.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Why did we say truth-seeking orbs can disintegrate spirits when they really only nullify ninjutsu?
Oh my god. Yeah, they are stated to nullify ninjutsu. They're also stated to work in the same way that dust release does and like completely disintegrate something. But I understand what the question is. The idea is that like it prevented Edo Tensei from regenerating because it nullified the ninjutsu of the Edo Tensei. But that's not entirely the full story. First of all, like ninjutsu is very, very broad. Like within the context of Naruto, it's basically just anything that isn't taijutsu and genjutsu. So you could just say it's power. It's like superpowers or senjutsu. It's just fucking superpowers in general. So if you're applying some level of verse equalization to between Naruto and other universes, it would just be nullifying regeneration. But secondly, even after the Edo Tensei jutsu is released, Minato's arm does not come back, implying that it did fully destroy his arm, more so than just nullifying that jutsu, nullifying Edo Tensei.
Yeah. I also recall in the research meeting there was it was really important to me to make sure that we establish, because like obviously the Naruto world and the Bleach world use their own different powers, right?
Yes.
Ryoryoku, chakra, etc. And I wanted to make sure that if these powers were going to affect each other, not just the orbs, but for everything, like, does it make sense for them to have any sort of connection? And what it really came down to was ninjutsu covers a physical and spiritual energy. And a spirit energy is kind of what Bleach is all about, right? Their spirits and spiritual energy. So there was some overlap there that allowed certain powers to affect each other. There's always a bit of a stretch when it comes to like world A and world B. How do these powers affect each other? Because we can't, for all we know, they exist on like different wavelengths of reality. Like, I don't know. Maybe they don't affect each other. Maybe they literally can't exist in the same universe together. Who fucking knows? They're fictional characters.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got to make some sort of recessions there just to have a fight at all.
But to jump on that, like, we look for connections, like you're saying,
Yeah.
like, like, oh, we see that it affects on the physical and spiritual level in this world, so it's very reasonable to say,
For instance,
like, I meant concessions.
Yeah.
If Madara was fighting a robot, Genjutsu wouldn't work because it's a robot. It doesn't have chakra. It doesn't have an equivalent of like soul or spirit energy, right? Like if I had ability
Says
to look at a
you.
character's soul. Yeah, I mean, then we can get into the whole Isaac Asimov, thing. But if my ability was like to rip out your soul, like the human path, I think, it wouldn't work on a robot because they don't have souls. Sorry for my anti-robot bias. But yeah, there's definitely cases where its stuff is not going to translate over. And I was going to save this for the last question, but we're basically already covering it. People also asked, like, how does Madara's Genjutsu work on Eisen when Eisen doesn't have chakra? Well, he has Ryoryoku, right? And he has a brain, and he has ocular nerves, and both Kyokusuigetsu and the Genjutsus require you to see, something. It activates through the eyes. Blind character in Bleach is not affected by Kyokusuigetsu, for instance. So we know that it's manipulating the ocular nerves to some degree through spiritual energy. If we go and are very specific about Genjutsu manipulates the chakra system. So if you don't have this very specific chakra system, then it's just not going to work on any character. Then Genjutsus don't work on anybody in any universe that doesn't have that, which is a thing that only happens in Naruto. So, and I don't think that that's fair, right? Just because
I don't feel like that's what people want to see.
No.
Like, oh no, when Goku shoots the Kamehameha at people, it's not going to kill them because we've only seen it work in Dragon Ball.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I could
Obviously,
take a
that's not
Kamehameha,
but
Yeah.
obviously that's not a one-to-one comparison to like chakra not existing in Bleach or whatever. But if you start removing powers from a character just because that basis of it doesn't, the Force, we ran into this with the Force as
Exactly.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Force doesn't exist in other
Right.
stories or whatever, but the Force is used. The connection of the Force between two people is often used by Force wielders. So if that connection doesn't exist, then 90% of their powers are just meaningless.
It was the same with It was the same with like I almost felt like they were joke responses, but like I remember back when Flash versus Quicksilver was coming out, and there was like a couple people I remember seeing that were like, well, the Speed Force doesn't exist outside of DC, so if they were in a neutral universe, then the Flash would just be a dude. Very
Also, also, let's be real
Dude.
here. If any power, like if any of those like tap into powers could transition into another person's media, it's the fucking Speed Force.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, there's just certain lines here that like crossing them just turns Death Battle or any sort of versus debate into I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk about this. This is just dumb.
And it's
and
not to say
boring.
that we can't like look at limits. Like Chalk or Genjutsus don't work on bugs in Naruto because their brains are too simple for it to work. That makes sense. I get that. Okay, that's a cool limit. But Eisen and Madara are two fucking dudes. They're two dudes. Like, yeah, Eisen is a Shinigami, but his ghost
spirit. Yeah, that's what I was about
matter.
to say.
His ghost matter is still physical. You can still touch it. He still has a fucking brain, and blood and shit. So
You heard it here first, folks. Eisen is just a dude.
It's just
they're
a
like
dude.
ghosts, but they can also have children. Like, okay, like
that's a
they're
good
just
point.
basically alive. They're just alive in a different dimension.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that answered one of the questions.
Yeah, so I guess last question, right?
Yeah, so this is the last question coming up from Madara Eisen. Isn't Eisen universe level? Couldn't he just overpower Madara? Huh? Do you think of that,
Oh
Liam?
shit! Right.
Mhm.
Oh my god, yeah. And the speed difference isn't enough that he would Madara would blitz. Oh fuck.
Well,
Can we
guess
go
we
back to
gotta
the
cancel
episode?
the episode.
No. So yeah, I've heard universe level arguments for both Naruto and Bleach. I think the Naruto ones are just I don't buy them at all. But the Bleach ones at least has they've used the word universe in certain statements in Bleach. The problem here is context. And the Viz translation uses the word universe for certain statements that would imply that being able to disrupt the balance of like the soul society in the living world affects the entire universe or whatever. Sure, in the Viz translation. In the original Japanese translation, it uses the word sekai, which could mean universe, but what it really means is world. So it could mean universe in context, or it could mean planet in context, or it could mean something like society in context. In context, there's nothing to suggest it is actually an entire universe. The most you could say is like a planet, not a whole universe. We don't see the souls of Martians in the Soul Society. We just see humans. And
that's
people that live
what's
on
so
Earth.
interesting about the Japanese language is so much of it is contextual, and it's the understanding of based on what I'm communicating to you and based on what you're perceiving. Like we have this, there's like the unspoken part of the language that both people understand the context to understand what this word means, or it's really fascinating. But that also then leads to stuff like this.
Exactly. No, there's not enough to say. No one straight up destroys a universe in Bleach. There's nothing, so you don't have that as like a oh no, it's consistent with this. It's already sort of like up in the air to begin with, and then with that wrinkle of translation, it's just not enough.
Are you sure,
to say
Liam?
that.
I can open the FLA file and change the ending right now.
Yeah, like
somebody somewhere got very excited.
Just have like that shot of Madara at the end. He's like, "What a wonderful dance," and then have like a South Park kind of Eisen like pop out and like boop, and then like knock him over. Then
Liam,
cuts.
could you get that done?
Comes out.
Yeah.
Could you get that done before the end of the episode? Like that'd be great.
I could try, but no. Don't worry about it.
Exclusive first look at the other ending.
I don't want to go back into that project file.
Man, well, I mean, on that note, Luis, like this was the last. Well, I guess technically not the last sprite fight if you've seen Saitama Popeye, but the last main sprite fight of the year. This is the big, sprite fight of this year. Was it as intense to make as it looks?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Always.
That's why we ended up like getting so many new talent a part of the team, and I think that's like something that people will come to appreciate as we like move forward is that just having more like different artists part of like the episodes will give like the episodes a lot more personality and stuff like that. So uh personally, I think this is like one of our best like seasons in terms of sprite fights. We really like took it to another level, and we like really were really excited about a bunch of fights. This is why like last year when we started the year, I was like, oh, I can see all these fights being like season openers and season like ending like fights, because like every single fight there was always something that we really wanted to do and like animate and make for the fans of those shows, and I think we were able to accomplish that. Hopefully, if people think that enjoy those fights and stuff.
Dude, when I saw that Unreal background
Yeah.
for Lex versus Doom for the first time, I was like,
I know.
it's a
Yo.
brave
Yeah.
new world. Holy fuck.
Holy crap.
I-
This is the
it's
same year that
amazing.
we did Yoda, King
Versus
Mickey,
King
and
Mickey,
Shadow
right?
Ryuko.
it
Wait,
doesn't
what?
feel like it, right?
Does
That
that feel
feels
like-
like a million years ago.
Yeah.
But man, yeah. Going into this, Luis, we talked about how every single one of the fights we want to have like at least one really big moment that's super memorable, and just
Yeah.
looking through the list of episodes that we did this year, I think we pulled it off.
Oh, 100%.
Like
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
every single episode we've released. I'm so proud of this team.
for sure. My tweet to promote Madara Eisen was, "This might be the coolest sprite fight we've ever done. I'm constantly in awe of our animation team, but holy hell, did they take it to the next level with this one?"
we
That was crazy.
really pull out all the stops and like with all the hand drawn elements, and like even the freelancer team like jumping in to do some of the close ups and like pulling all the stops to make those their shots like really stand out, and it was so amazing to see it like all come together. And then just I get to work with all those like animators who are really talented and able to like work on the post stuff and like put them make them go into a next level in terms of like quality. It's always fun to see, and they're always so excited when they see the episodes, and like like, oh man, this is like better than I thought it was gonna look. Because like the way we animate is without like we animate without the backgrounds, and like we use like a lot of like temporary objects to kind of represent those specific like destruction and stuff of that nature within the fight. So
yeah, imagine like a bright purple tube hitting the ground, and then a big green cone comes up. Like that's what they're animating to.
yeah, basically. So when they animate that and they go like, okay, here's the file, and then like they see the final version of the shot, they're like, how do you turn this into that? It's like so it's really really cool to get to work with all of them. They're all very excited, all very motivated into making like the Death Battle episodes as good as they can be. So yeah, looking forward to working with all of them next year. So there's a lot of cool stuff working on.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think we mentioned it. Should we give a shout out to Christina? For who has
No.
For sure.
Yeah.
Christina did a lot of like the amazing work that we now use for the Unreal pipeline, and without her we wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the cool Unreal fights and like get to the level that we are now. And from here it's pretty much like we just keep on like improving every single year and keep up like finding ways of making the fights look even better. With each passing fight, like there's always something in every fight that I'm always like very like in awe and very excited for people to see. So like I tend to like go to like reaction videos and looking at people like I just look at that part. It's like I just want to see what they think of that part, and it's always like, whoa, that was really cool. It's like,
and you're like, yes.
My favorite one was like
Yeah,
I would go in the Dio Alucard reaction videos, and I'd go to like the part where I'd go to the blood ocean part, and then I'd go to the clock tower fight, the sword fight.
Yeah.
And they always fucking love that. They were like, oh, it was great. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you guys were able to pull that one off. That was the scene when we were going through the script, and it was like, this is it. This is gonna be like the most epic thing ever. This army of undead coming up. It's gonna be so fucking cool. We gotta make sure this works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's
And, like the
it's
crazy
really-
time travel shenanigans of Goku Black versus Reverse Flash, like making
Yes.
that work,
Yeah.
despite how confusing it could have potentially been. There's
And the
so many cool
Quicksilver
stuff like
nod.
that. Yes.
so many and so many like so many cool like death scenes that we created this year, and I know that's kind of weird to say, but we really like being creative in that aspect, because I mean, like, we have done like over 100 episodes at this point, so like being able to make new ways of like making your favorite characters die, it's always fun to do.
Oh yeah, I hear you, dude. That was
Look at that sweet little smile as he's saying
Yeah.
that.
so that was one of my favorite
It's such a
parts.
blast.
Just like, ooh, how do we kill this character?
Yeah.
But also, like,
I mean,
jumping in on-
we love those characters. We just want to
Yeah.
make them make their deaths as cool as possible. Like, even
Exactly.
if you like that character, you're like, oh shit, it's kind of cool though.
I always feel kind of bad when like you or any other member of the animation team for an episode has like been really wanting a character in Death Battle, and we know that this is a character you guys are passionate about. They're finally in an episode,
and you get to animate it.
and they die. I'm sorry. You have to animate
That
their
happened.
death.
If you request a character for Death Battle, if you request a matchup for Death Battle, where
gotta be
one of the
ready.
characters in it is one you like, you gotta be ready for the possibility that they will fucking die horribly.
Yeah,
Just
but
saying.
Yep.
our team doesn't necessarily like request like I want Akuma back in Death Battle because he's like my favorite character ever. But
Okay.
surprise, here you go.
Yeah, another finger
dies,
on
by the
monkey
way.
paw curls.
Yeah. Happens way too often though. Like all the cool characters that I like just end up dying, but it's okay.
Well,
It's okay. I'm not
One of my
Sometimes.
favorite- One of my
A
favorite
couple
things
of
to see
times.
reactions to this year was actually in Madara Eisen, specifically the reveal of Saitama Popeye, because everyone was like Saitama came first, and then they were like, "Oh my god, oh, it's gonna be Saitama
Hey.
Goku or Super. Oh my
Mhm.
god, I can't believe they're." And then it cuts to Popeye, and they're like, "Popeye."
It was either like what or like
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of that, on the Death Battle Discord, by the way, there's a Death Battle fan Discord. It's awesome. Like, if you want a very active community, it's crazy. They're
Yeah.
constantly typing in there, and we pop in from time to time. But Animator 3003 said, because I don't know if you guys have seen this, Popeye has like the official Popeye Twitter account, like fully embraced the fight. And leading up to the fight, remember we're pre-recording this, they tweeted out that he's just like, okay, I'll just read the quote. So Animator 3003 says, the idea of Popeye looking through Twitter, seeing the post and going, "I'ma fucking kill that guy," is a thought that I never thought I would have, yet here we are. Because Popeye's on it. Like, he's there, he tweets as Popeye, and he's just like, "I'm not worried at all." Yeah, there you go.
They spell out the
really
words
love-
as if he actually is saying
With
them.
all due
It's so
respect.
terrible.
Yeah, I know.
And
I
actually,
really
we
love
have
the,
we do have our
the-
Popeye voice actor here.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Do you want to
You wanna
read off
read
the
it?
tweet?
Let's do it. Let's see if I can.
I mean,
summon up-
again, like it's
again,
hard.
It also
hard
the
to-
breaks
Popeye
your
voice
brain
requires
reading
you to
it.
really find it in the throat. So
Popeye's got such a weird voice. He can't
I
like snap right
I have
into
to
it. But...
get into it. I am what I am. With all due respect, me is not worried in the slightest.
like that.
Oh my god! And then the
sound the end.
slightest.
Yeah, it is. In so many cases.
I do appreciate how he's like, trying to be polite. With all due respect, Saitama. But like,
yeah.
like, I'm still
I'm
gonna
beat your ass.
I mean,
That's what I love.
honestly, if Popeye were in the modern world and was on Twitter, I could kind of see him
Oh, yeah,
doing
he's-
this.
he's
like
very
just
polite and
going
respectful.
online, finding people who are talking shit, and just challenging them to fights. And being like, "Let's go! I'm not worried. Let's go!"
Yeah.
like he would totally be doing that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's for this. I love it when stuff like that happens. Like, obviously we don't expect like an official Twitter account or anything like that to reach out to us for a death battle or whatnot.
We definitely do not.
But it's
make
really cool what it
episodes
kind of does.
based on that.
No, we
It's
don't.
just-
There's no kind of contact like that. We did not plan anything like that. Like it just sort of happens naturally sometimes, and it's really neat
And
when it does.
It's super cool for us because we're fans of all this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So like when we have something like, the Popeye account or like Butch Hartman reach out and be like, thank you so much for like doing anything with Danny Phantom.
Yeah.
It's like, this is insane. Like the creator's like stoked. Or like, God, I'm blanking on his name. And I can't remember the episode. We had the comic writer, he had written for both characters. I think it was Doom. Was it Lex Doom? I think he had written for both
it was Lex Iron Man, I think.
Yeah,
Was it Lex Iron Man? Okay. Yeah, he had written for both the characters at different times. One time he worked for DC, one time he worked for Marvel. And then he tweeted out, he's like, this was awesome, and this is exactly how it would go. And it's like, yeah! It's like
Official confirmation.
yeah, that stuff's
Yeah.
super cool.
Word of God.
Or even working with like when we worked with Amazon and we did The Boys, and they were like, this is fucking rad. You know? They reached out, they're like, will you do a custom episode of all of them fighting to the death? And we're like,
That
Yes.
to this day I think is going to be one of my favorite episodes. I don't think that'll ever be knocked from my like top 5 episodes, just because like we were able to work with Amazon with it. Like I never expected anybody like that to reach out to us. Be like, hey, we have these characters. Can you use them? Like that's wild to me. Like
It's the
we're
perfect
Death Battle.
IP. It's the perfect IP where the owner is like okay with them brutally murdering each other because
Yeah.
that's what the show is.
Yeah.
dude, I was at a massage therapist the other day, and we've all been in the scenario where somebody's just like, so what do you do? And then I have to be like, okay,
Well,
I work on YouTube, and then of course that usually always leads to like,
same.
yeah, then they're like, oh, well, what do you, oh, YouTube,
What show
yeah,
do you work?
like,
Oh, it's
and then it's
animation,
like, yeah, it gets to death battle, and it's like, look, it's really nerdy, like, and you go through this, and so he's like trying to wrap his head around it, and then of course, usually if someone's from a certain generation, then it's like, well, how do you make money, and they so it leads to that. But anyway, so he's like, well, I get it, because like I pretty much only have YouTube. I'm like, he's like, well, and Amazon, because I really like The Boys, and I had already explained Death Battle, and I'm like, well, it's like we actually did a whole episode on that, and so I left there with him being like, I'm gonna look up your YouTube channel.
I am so happy I work on more shows than Death Battle now, so I can lead. I can respond to that question with I work for an animation company.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, what do you do? And then I can name other shows first, and then lead into like the
I'm a
really
writer
weird shit.
For what show?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Ben, I work on like 5 YouTube channels right now.
Yeah,
or some shit.
exactly.
And so it's like I do like content strategy, programming strategy for YouTube, and that means nothing to so many people,
Sure, yeah.
I do wonder this actually. Like, have you ever tried to explain that battle, and then in the process of explaining it, you get the person to actually request a matchup? In the process.
All the time. Yeah.
It seems to always be from the same universe, though.
A friend of
It's
mine.
always something like, yeah, you should do something like Superman versus Batman. I'm like, that's
like,
happened.
yeah.
I was like,
It's happened.
yeah,
to me.
that's happened a whole lot.
Try again.
I
Try
had a
again.
friend from college message me like out of the blue like a couple months ago and being like, "Has Popeye ever been in Death Battle?"
Wait, really?
And I was like, yeah. He was like, because I just saw this thing. He's like really OP, and I think he sent me like the like classic like, look what Popeye can do in the full list, which most of it is completely made up. Just want to say that. But we didn't use any of that for the fight. Yeah, he sent that to me and I was like, no, we haven't used Popeye. Boy, it sure would be cool if we used Popeye. And then last night he sent me the Popeye preview on YouTube. He was like, oh, Popeye, and I was like, and I'm voicing him.
That's awesome.
You should have said like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I did that because you said so." It's like,
Yeah,
there you go. Ultimate friend points.
Yeah.
No, like my really good friend Will, he like again was asking what I do, so then he never watched an episode and then fell down the rabbit hole and literally watched every single episode because he like
Jesus.
loved, and I was like, please don't judge my initial voice acting. But so yeah, he like just absolutely loves the analysis, like, and all that stuff. But see, then the other part is then it leads to even your good friends will also have, you're not going to please everybody with Death Battle. And so like I got like a message. He's like, Yang versus Tebow is bullshit. Like, and like anytime like either like any of those properties get brought up, he's like, that was bullshit.
Yeah.
He's traveling the path of every Death Battle fan.
It's a wild show, but it's crazy. And so thank you guys for allowing us to do it and being so engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of the community and 10 years of Death Battle, I really wanted to give a shout out to bring it up, Brian. Awesome Ethan for working on this all year long. Oh wait, is that the wrong one?
That's not the final one. That's not the final one.
Oh, where is it? Oh, there were two images. Brian just grabbed he grabbed the left one instead of the right one. Sorry, Brian. Should have specified. It is the right tweet. It was just the wrong image.
But Ethan's been working on this all year, along with another one that's based on our First Fallen T-shirt, which is amazing as well. But that one's a spoilerific one, so we can't share it. I hate it. I hate that. But it's really cool. You should check that out on his Twitter.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like check
all the characters.
This is incredible. And I also love that the big gaps in space were clearly reserved for Galactus Unicron. So he was like, well, shit, I'll make him ethereal. Like,
that's the best part of it.
Sorry, Ethan.
It works just fine as is. I mean, Popeye and Saitama still deserve that sort of spot. Yeah,
but great job. And also I want to point out, like Ben was saying that we hate, and I just want to be very clear on the First Fallen stuff. We love it. It's amazing. Keep up the artwork. The problem is Ben and I can't interact with it, because if we interact with it on social media, or any of us really, if we interact with social media, it'll then pop up on our feeds to serve to people who follow us, and we don't want to spoil the fight for anybody. So it's really cool, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Oh, I can't hit that like button. Like,
I really want to every time.
Yeah, same.
It's the same thing for fan art. Like I see fan art all the time, and I love sharing that stuff because you guys do some amazing work. But if it is posted like before it goes up on YouTube, I'm like, can I do that? I don't know if I should actually share that, because that technically spoils what the next episode is for people who haven't seen it yet. Sure, whatever. Sometimes I'll just do it because it's so cool and people spend so much time on it, and it's amazing.
I remember seeing fan art of Saitama, and this was made like before the episode was announced, like months and months before the episode was announced. It was Saitama versus Popeye in like a sprite design, and they're fighting in a supermarket. And I was like, wow.
there was one I saw. I don't think it was on Twitter. I can't remember where I saw it. Of them punching each other in space.
I saw that
and it's like
too,
identical to the final punch. And this was before the episode came out. And I'm like,
and I was like,
how did you know?
Yeah, seriously.
It's amazing when that happens.
Well, Liam, who was it? That like when Ben said the words, it's not what you're expecting. Well, it's half of what you're expecting. And then immediately it was just
3 minutes.
Saitama versus Popeye.
Yeah, he went Saitama versus Popeye, and didn't even guess. He was like, "It's Saitama versus Popeye," and then like in a later conversation talking about Saitama versus Popeye, they were like, "Huh?" I believe it was him. Yeah. He said like, "Oh, it'd be cool if Liam voiced a character one of these days."
And you know who this was?
It's Mal. He's on the. It's in the. He has the gift of prophecy. It's not the first time he's done this shit.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta scroll back through the cereal mascot shit.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I'm not kidding. It's free.
Well,
say things and I'm like, damn it! How did he fucking guess it already?
It was Steel Mall Run.
Yes. Yeah.
Got it. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, it's not just Mall Run. It's plenty of people have been able to just guess or predict what we do, and it's always wild to see it. It's like the opposite of the Death Battle curse, where we like seem to accidentally cause ripples in the universe to cause other things to happen. There are other people. There are members of you people, the community, who somehow just have the ability to like predict what we're gonna do. Just know what we're gonna do. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, and I can't tell you guys, like, as we're so far ahead now. Like now, like with the new like animation process we built, we're like integrating into the RT animation department. Like we're already into 2022, like deep, right? And so it's like
Mhm.
this stuff is already written, like, and it's crazy, like how like we've already decided stuff, and then somebody will, like Ben says, say something, and we're just like, that's what we're doing.
I mean, even like this year, I remember seeing the matchup list for this year and being like, oh, Madara Eisen, that's cool. And then like literally no more than like 2 or 3 days, I swear to God, the Bleach announcement for the Bleach anime coming back this year.
Yeah,
It's like
classic. Predictable.
Predictable.
Oh my God, the predictable from
Geese.
Hiachi.
Yeah.
Geese, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so many good episodes this year. I love how
Wait,
this.
that was
yeah.
this year?
That was this
dude.
year.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I
Naruto
have the
was this
poster
year,
pulled
too.
up. We need that, Ethan. Like that.
Iron Fist versus Poe was this year. That episode was so much fucking fun.
Steven Star, Link Cloud,
Link versus Cloud.
Goku Black
That was such a
Reverse
good one.
Flash.
Man, it really does feel like we were working on this season for 10 years.
and of course, Macho Man versus Kool-Aid Man, where we tried something brand new. Some people didn't like it, but a lot of people really dug it. A lot of people really dug it. I'm very happy with the response to that one.
Damn it.
YouTube didn't like it very much. They kind of flagged that one for not suitable to advertising, so it didn't get shared around on YouTube as much. But whatever,
hey.
it's fine.
Hey, you guys really liked Adam and Eve, and so we appreciate the support. But unfortunately, then YouTube made some decisions. And I will say, like, I don't know if we talked about this on cast, but like, shout out to Adam and Eve. Like, we had to go to him and be like, hey guys, like, YouTube's messing with our videos now because of your ad reads, which isn't anything to do with, like, anyway, whatever. And they we get
we
it.
don't
It's
have
cool.
a problem with.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
YouTube
They were straight up
kinda
just like, we get it,
dogs.
it's cool, and then
The
just we
fucking
adapted the contract.
Puritans at
So.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Blake
it was
Picasso
kind of
was this year.
really impressive. Yeah, there was some. Blake Mikasa was, I think, our first 3D. No, I guess Yoda would have been our first 3D. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The fact that we started this year off with Yoda versus King Mickey of all things.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like, it still blows my mind.
I love that Goku Black versus Reverse Flash ended up feeling like somewhat of a gag fight just because of how funny it is and how how fast paced the jokes are. But it is
Mhm.
also like a serious battle. That's one of my favorite fight animations to revisit. Like it's just so much fun the entire time.
Mhm.
So
I think
funny.
that's my favorite fights. Is whenever there is a fight that seems like a joke, but we treat it as seriously as possible.
Yes.
I
same,
always
same.
love those kind of fights.
It is
It
my-
just it makes it feel so like we're all in on it. You know what I mean? Like we're
Yeah.
all like enjoying the fact that this like matchup
The
is actually
joke.
happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, cause, well, I mean, it's like, cause the serious fights, but like, like when you take a character that is clearly meant to fight people and put it up against another character that's clearly meant to fight people, it's different. It has more of that serious tone, right? But it's just so much more fun to find a character that when they were created has no business fighting another character
Yeah.
and yet analyze what they can do and if they were to actually adapt that into combat. That was, oh God, that's what I love the most about this show.
Yeah, those kind of fights are always great. And like even like Yoda Mickey, you know what I mean? Like it's just funny in concept, right? Rather than like funny in
Yeah.
like
Yeah, right.
in a like a they wouldn't be fighting each other kind of thing.
Oh, that
so-
script came across my desk and then Ben had to explain to me because I went, what the fuck?
We had a few of those episodes this year.
Short.
Yoda versus King Mickey, Iron Fist versus Poe, Shadow
Battle of the
Ryuko to a
Short
certain
Kings.
extent. Of course, Macho Man, Kool-Aid Man, and Saitama versus Popeye. Like matchups that are just so out there, but I love them to death. And of course, Goku Black versus Reverse Flash, because even though they are serious characters in the fact that they fight other people and whatnot, they are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And when they're paired up next to each other, it's so
Reverse
much
Flash is a
fun.
walking
they
meme. He's a
they
goofball.
they definitely embody what Death Battle is all about. You know,
Yes.
it's all about having fun with these like characters we love, and have them like just have an entertaining fight and just making like when you watch that, it's just like entertaining to watch, makes your day better. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what we really want to do, just entertain you guys. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Liam finally lived his dream this year.
Yeah.
Finally got Dio Alucard.
Now we have a new dream, a new most wanted Liam episode.
What's your new one?
We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see in the future. Who knows?
Are we doing? Or
It's a
is your
secret.
new most wanted episode also happening in 2022?
Oh no, it's not. No.
Okay.
Which is why he's not saying it.
I mean, there are episodes that you really wanted to do.
Oh,
In
there
2022.
are. Oh,
Yes.
there are. Oh,
Yes.
there are. Oh, there
And
are.
we can't spoil anything about next season.
No.
But we are doing a lot of episodes from new franchises, and
Yes.
even franchises that like we've talked about in the past as like, oh, it might be a little difficult to bring, this kind of thing into Death Battle, or nobody would ever expect us. Nobody would ever want to see this, right? No, we're doing some crazy stuff next year. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
We are crossing some new boundaries. Let's just say, and maybe a couple boundaries that I don't think people are expecting at all.
Ben, you know the one that I'm talking about. That if we get confirmation that we can make that work, oh my god, I'm so excited if we can do that. We
I
just
actually
need to-
don't know which one you're
the
talking
one that we
about.
just
Actually,
need to hear back from
There
someone.
are a couple.
Oh, yeah.
There are a couple like that.
Narrow it down.
Ben, the person
But
that,
yeah, I got you.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so excited about next season, and happy to share some new ideas and some new matchups with you guys. Like Chad said, thank you so much to all of you for supporting us for a decade of Death Battle, over a decade now. Technically,
Yeah.
Death Battle is into its 11th year as of this month, which is
Crazy.
I mean,
Oh.
again, I originally pitched Death Battle as a 26 episode thing. Like, we would end Death Battle. 25 was going to be Goku Superman. 26 was going to be Chuck Norris Son, Sega the Sanshiro. We're done. That was the plan. That was the initial plan. And it just kept going. So here we are,
Okay, Bass,
10
for
years
more.
later,
And it can't die.
and it's just
And
not
it's-
stopping.
And-
Whenever we cut
and it's
off
still
one
fun.
of these Hydra's heads, a third one pops up.
Yeah, what do I do? How do I get out of this?
I mean, it's changed all our lives. Like
Yes.
we all
Yeah.
have gotten to work on cool things and cool opportunities because of you guys watching the show and making it. Like, Luis, what were you doing when I hired you?
What was I doing?
Yeah.
I was
Push-ups.
I was back in Puerto Rico, and I was doing YouTube videos every 2 weeks, doing parodies, trying to make a living out of it, and I was making about $100 a month from it.
And now look at
So-
all the cool shit you've been able to do
Yeah,
with your animation.
I don't think I would have gotten this far if it wasn't for the opportunity that I got from that battle, for sure.
And that's all the community. Well, again, we can't do this
you
stuff.
know-
Like it's
Yeah,
for
for,
it.
sure. You know, be super cool. Everyone that's watching on YouTube, just leave your like top 3 fights this year. I just want to see like
Yeah.
what you guys think is your favorite fights of the year. Just going through that, it's always fun to see what people think of the year in general, and like what were your favorite fights and or your favorite moments in
Yeah.
those fights and stuff. Yeah, we love those kind of things. We love interacting with the community. We love seeing what you guys like think of the fights and what you want to see in the future. It's always fun to be able to please fans and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely would like to see that as well. Top 3 fights, amazing. And thank you so much, Luis. And I don't. There's unfortunately not enough time to thank everybody who worked on an episode this year because there's so many people: animators, sound design, casting, editing. Which holy shit, the editors like
Oh, you think?
Oh,
blew it
yeah.
out of the park
Yeah.
this year. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Like gosh, there's just so much that goes into music. Our musicians are so super talented. Like I feel so lucky to work with them. Well, I don't know. I can keep going. I don't want researchers, writers. God damn it. Like it's just there's so many people that I
Storyboards.
just feel
Like-
so
Storyboards, yeah.
Yeah,
storyboard. Oh my god.
Post
yeah.
viz.
Like, mm,
I kept watching the animatic for Saitama Popeye like over and over and over again because it's like so good like on its own that I didn't even mind that it wasn't animated.
'Cause it feels
yet.
like
I
a
was just
cartoon
like,
strip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's fun.
God, like it's really easy to look at like an animation and think like, oh yeah, you just draw it and it happens. But there's so many steps to it and so many different groups of people that touch it. It's a lot. It's a lot to make, and we work with people who are so much more talented than the rest of us. Like Luis is so much more talented than me. I
Truly.
think. Like, come on,
Oh
let's be real
my
here.
gosh.
But man,
typically
it is
type words out, and Luis fucking and his team makes it into fucking magic.
It's the coolest feeling.
Yeah.
It's the coolest feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's
That
incredible.
was in my head. How did you do that?
Exactly. Yeah.
You made it real.
Everybody here
It's
has
so
such
cool.
incredible talents that all mesh together so well, and I'm so happy to have these teams working together. It's so much fun.
And we like everyone we work with.
Yeah, everyone's really
I
cool.
mean, I think I like you all right, but okay.
All right. You know what? Except for Ben.
Luis and I once got into that brawl, when we got
Oh
super
right,
wasted that one
Liam
time.
and I've got to do a few fist fights, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
sometimes.
especially when we were playing. What's the game?
We played
not Street of
KOF.
Rage.
We played
KOF. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that fist fight.
Yeah, that fist fight.
We were like,
I still remember.
Luis messaged me. He was like, "Do you have KOF? What was it, like 2001 or something on
2000
Steam?
2001.
Yeah, something like that." And I was like, "No, I don't." He's like, "Get it, so we can play it." And I was like, "Yeah, let's play it." We did once.
One time we played one time, and I was like, I hate you spamming the same attack
You won a fair amount of the rounds,
like 2 times. Just kept spamming.
I was like
What's wrong
fighting
with
Brian's Blanca in Street Fighter 4.
I don't
Still bitter,
God.
Brian.
Yeah. And on that
I-
note, I wanted to give a shout out to Brian and Cody and everybody who's worked on Death Metal Cast as well as Sam. Like, this show's been going, like Death Metal Cast has been going on for quite a while now too, which is still blows my mind. Like, I feel like we just started Death Metal Cast like 2 years ago, but it's not. It's like 5-6 years. I don't even know. We're on episode 200 and something, right? Like, I don't even know. I can't
Pretty
even
sure
keep
it's
track
more
of
than
Death Metal
5
Cast.
years. Because we were already
yeah.
doing Death Battle before we moved down.
159. Yeah.
159. Oh my god. 259.
259. Yeah.
259 episodes of Death
Of
Metal
cast. Oh. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Battle.
Yeah. No, we've caught up and surpassed it.
Yeah.
And now we're doing the community death battles, and I love it. I love when we're all just freaking out and yelling at each other. It is such chaos.
Screams.
But thank you so much for supporting us and helping us do this, because at the end of the day, we could not be doing this without your support. Whether you are sharing the episodes, you are a first member on Rooster Teeth, directly supporting us and watching Death Battle before anybody else, or just watching it on YouTube when it comes out. Leaving a comment, leaving a like, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be very much. Just watching it is huge for us. Like,
Yep.
that's everything. And I can't like find the words really to just like. It's been 10 years of this, guys. Like, how I don't know. I don't know how to like express how amazed I am that you guys are willing to put up with us for so long. But man, it's such a good feeling, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Yes, even the ones who yell at us and say that we're stupid and we get
Didn't
things
you
wrong.
forget?
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. At the end of the
but-
day, it's all in good fun. It's just
Yeah.
for entertainment and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's as long as you guys keep watching, we'll keep making them. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And with that being said, Happy New Year. Happy holidays from all of us here at the Death Metal Crew, and of course the rest of Rooster Teeth. Thank you so much. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be awesome, and we'll see you next year. Take care.